If you know boxing, be honest. There's levels.
In the show, bro. The show.
Good he looks.
He's very sharp. That's all I can.
Dangerous.
Very dangerous. Don't look like he's a 46.
He looks like he's 36 or 26.
Yeah.
Gervonta Davis was left completely stunned after witnessing Manny Pacquiao's jaw-dropping training sessions in preparation for the Mario Barrios fight. Despite his age, Pacquiao moved with blistering speed and delivered punches that carried frightening power, looking every bit like a prime monster in the gym. The intensity in his footwork and the crisp, punishing accuracy of his shots were undeniable proof that he's nowhere near finished. His movements radiated the hunger of a fighter ready to dominate the sport once again. Inside Pacquiao's camp, teammates have been amazed by what they're seeing during sparring. They reveal that Manny remains just as sharp, fast, and explosive as the prime years of his career. According to one sparring partner, Pacquiao recently went 8 grueling rounds without showing even the slightest sign of slowing down. His speed, precision, and timing stayed razor-sharp from the opening bell to the final second, while his footwork and punch placement stayed immaculate. What left everyone speechless was how fresh he still looked after such high-intensity work. To his team, Pacquiao isn't merely keeping up with younger fighters, he's pushing the pace, controlling the action, and surprising everyone with just how ready and dangerous he still is.
Everybody is surprised, so it's gonna be a good fight.
What's the most impressive? His speed, his power, his footwork?
It's everything, because you don't see him slow down. People say he's slowing down, but he's not. I mean, that's where you exactly are going to be surprised, because he's sharp, really, to be honest with you. He's very, very sharp. That's why I don't want to say anything else, but...
No, leave it at that.
You know,
but how...
I live it that way, but...
Okay, so let me ask you this. In 11 days, he steps into the ring at the MGM in Las Vegas to fight Mario Barrios. How does the fight end?
There's a chance of knockout.
Manny,
I can see that.
You can see a knockout?
I'm not going to say what round, but...
Just that Manny wins either way, knockout or decision.
Yeah, I don't think decision. Maybe the decision is kind of. I don't know if it's going into this time, really, because the way
Manny's that explosive.
Everything is. I don't know.
Okay, now let's talk about his son Jim for a second. How talented is his son?
He's a very good fighter. You know, he's
Good
going
power.
there.
I've seen him knock people out.
Yeah, he's but power. But right now he's still. We want him to grow more, so to be ready. Actually, he's ready already. So we just want it to work in silence. We keep it down.
What's your message to all Pacquiao fans who are watching this, who are getting ready, who are excited for Manny Pacquiao Barrios, July 19, Las Vegas?
Tune in to this coming fight, because it's gonna be a very good fight.
Don't go to the kitchen. Don't go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Don't look at your phone.
Yes,
because it can happen.
Focus on that, because I know Mario Barrios also is training hard too. Manny also, he trained like there's no tomorrow.
Boxing icon Roy Jones Jr. has publicly expressed full faith in Manny Pacquiao's ability to capture another world title in his comeback. While critics question whether age and years away from active competition could be a factor, Jones believes Pacquiao's legendary work ethic, vast experience, and relentless fighting spirit make him a rare exception. He describes Pacquiao as one of those once-in-a-generation athletes capable of defying all expectations. In Jones's view, Pacquiao's discipline, skill set, and hunger for true competition, not just showmanship, are still intact, and those qualities are enough to compete successfully at the very highest level even today.
I would not be able to take credit for beating Pacquiao after he got knocked out by Marquez, because that's not the same Pacquiao. Of course. That's not the Pacquiao at the top of this game. But in society today, we'll call that person the best fighter ever. Of course. When that's not how that goes. That's not reality. But in the business world, it is, because look how much money he made.
Here we go! who's greater than me? I said, Sugar Ray Robinson. He said, Sugar Ray Robinson? How many wins he got? I said, he got like over 150 wins. He stopped for me. He said, but who got more championship titles? Me or him? I said, hold on, Floyd. He said, answer the question. I said, Floyd, there's more titles now than then. There was just one then. That's no fair. Answer the question. I said, okay, you. Do I not have 28 titles? And I was just like, I don't know. He said, oh, you're supposed to be the expert. But the reason why I said that is because there's minor and major titles. Who else greater than me? I said Henry Armstrong, Roberto Duran. He said, oh my God. He said, you said something about Pacquiao. Yeah, I said, I think you'll beat Pacquiao every day of the week, but I think he had a greater career. He said, you ain't think Pacquiao was on steroids? I said, he didn't fail any tests, Floyd. He said, look at me in my eyes. I can't say, man, he didn't say. He said, oh man, you fake. I saw that as a initiation. This is what you about to get. Nobody's greater than Floyd. My thing is, he should feel that way, but you can't expect everybody to feel that you're the greatest, Floyd.
Mario Barrios has made it clear that while he holds tremendous respect for Manny Pacquiao outside the ring, that sentiment will vanish the moment the first bell rings. Barrios recognizes Pacquiao's legendary status in boxing history, but he views him as nothing more than a challenger trying to take his belt. He stressed that emotions and admiration have no place in the heat of battle, and he intends to treat Pacquiao like any other opponent threatening his position. His words reflect his sharp mental focus and the seriousness with which he approaches this matchup.
You know, ever since the fight was announced, I think initially I was kind of just like shocked. Like, man, dude, like, Pacquiao wants to fight me, right? He wants to fight me for my title. You know, I think for the sport, boxing, and I think just sports in general, like Manny is that name. When you think about boxing, right, he's somebody that comes to mind. At least for me, like I've been watching him since since my earliest memories of boxing. Manny has been a name that's like, okay, like he's the man. And yeah, you know, now he wants to come out of retirement. He wants to fight me for my title. I can't look at it as anything other than, you know, it's just another opponent trying to take what's mine. You know, he's outside the ring. I have, you know, nothing but respect for him, nothing but respect for everything he's accomplished, for the person he is, you know, everything he does, you know, for his country and more. But as soon as we step in the ring, you know, he's in there trying to take what's mine. I'm not training with the mentality, you know, that I'm getting ready, you know, to fight an icon, fight a legend. At the end of the day, he's just another man, you know, trying to fight for my title. He's going in there trying to, you know, take my title, and I gotta do whatever it takes to make sure he
Brian Mendoza has praised Pacquiao's greatness and applauded the courage it takes to compete at this level, but he remains realistic about the potential impact of age. Mendoza points out that even the most skilled fighters cannot completely escape time's effect on the body. While he agrees Pacquiao's reflexes, instincts, and timing still look sharp, he warns that physical limitations may become more visible in the later rounds. His breakdown suggests that while fans are right to admire Pacquiao's comeback attempt, they should also acknowledge the harsh reality that aging fighters often struggle to sustain peak performance for the full duration of a grueling fight.
Before the interview.
I don't. This is an unbiased opinion.
Man, I'm looking forward to it, you know, even just as a boxing fan, you know, obviously coming up, it was always, you know, seeing Pacquiao's fights and stuff, and now to see the homie, you know, going up against him like that, it's wild, man. It's a wild feeling. I know even more so for him, but nah, man, I just think at the end of the day, I feel like, you know, the age will show up in the fight. I think at first, you know, he's had people talk about the layoff, but it's also a rest for someone at that age. So I feel like he's gonna be rested. I feel like we might see, you know, hints of little old Manny, no pun intended, the old Manny, little bits of flashes of that in there. But I think at the end of the day, man, Mario's super sharp. This is the sharpest I've ever seen him, you know, this far in camp. I'm super excited, bro, and he's gonna put on a great show. I still kind of lean towards like a decision, but regardless, it's Mario's way. If there is a stoppage, I think it'll be in like the second half. Like I said, you know, because I think that's really when the age is gonna show. Because you can look good in the gym, man, but once those bright lights are on you, anything that's wrong will come out. So as much of a legend man he is, I think, you know, he bit off a little more than he can chew with Barrios.
Despite skepticism from some corners, a large section of fans remain convinced that Pacquiao's natural talent, fight IQ, and ability to adapt in the ring have not faded. Recent training footage has reignited hope, showing glimpses of the same explosiveness and creativity that defined his career. Supporters argue that Pacquiao's unique angles, bottomless stamina, and non-stop pressure have always been his greatest strengths, and those traits are not erased by age. The excitement surrounding his return is fueled by the belief that his determination, adaptability, and sheer willpower will allow him to compete with and even defeat younger challengers.
Manny Pacquiao returns to the ring against a young fighter, champion WBC, Mario Barrios. How do you see that fight playing out?
Barrios is a tall guy, and he's a tough guy. You know, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt because Pacquiao is the champion, the holder of the records of 8 divisions, and he knows how to fight, he knows how to win, so you always got to give it that opportunity for him to show up. And now whoever shows up in that ring, whether it's a desire to win or just try to be there, that's a question that we have to see. But I believe that he has the ability to do something to win the fight against Barrios.
Many boxing analysts believe Pacquiao's best route to victory lies in starting fast and fighting smart from the very first round. They note that stamina could become an issue in the later stages, so the key is to dominate early. By applying relentless pressure, using his signature speed, and dictating the pace, Pacquiao could build enough momentum to carry him through any late-round fatigue. Experts caution that he must capitalize on Barrios' slower tactical adjustments and avoid unnecessary brawls that could drain his energy before the championship rounds.
I was talking to somebody about Manny coming back fighting Mario Barrios. And this was the analogy I gave. Your timing, it slows down. That's time. Time slows you down. And so, to me, I think Manny has to come out very strong, very fast in the first couple of rounds because his gas tank ain't what it used to be. At 46 years old, you come out and let's just say hypothetically your gas is half full at 46 years old. I'd rather try to use that half tank
when I got something
in 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And really get off on this kid because he has the kind of style. Styles make fights. He's got the perfect style for Manny to do what he do. But the further that fight goes, the more that's gonna go down. He ain't young no more when it does this. It ain't gonna do this no more. It ain't gonna go down and then come back up. He not gonna create space, take a deep breath, and that thing shoot up the way it used to. He ain't gonna do that, you know?
Observers have highlighted that Barrios' defensive style might leave openings for Pacquiao's aggressive offense. Some analysts believe that with fast combinations, clever angles, and precise timing, Pacquiao can break through Barrios' guard. Critics of Barrios point to specific flaws in his defensive technique that a fighter with Pacquiao's high ring IQ could exploit. If Pacquiao stays alert, avoids taking unnecessary damage, and maintains his tempo, he could put Barrios in serious trouble before the fight reaches its halfway point.
Pacquiao Barrios, bro. Who do you like?
It's hard to know, at the age of Pacquiao, what we're going to get from him, But I'll tell you this. Depending on his conditioning, right? Depending on how much he can pop in on that instep that he brought to me, that notorious fast instep, if he can pop in that instep and if Pacquiao can get in, I know he can hurt Mario Barrios. Defense of Mario Barrios is still suspect. He is willing to get caught. You can catch the kid. It's not hard to find.
Doubts about Barrios' level of competition continue to surface. Analysts point out that he has been stopped by fighters who may not possess Pacquiao's speed or punching power. While Barrios is undoubtedly talented, many believe he is yet to prove himself against the sport's true elite. This, they argue, creates a major opportunity for Pacquiao, particularly if he can force Barrios into uncomfortable situations with a high-pressure, high-volume attack. To them, this is a winnable fight for Pacquiao, provided he sticks to a disciplined, well-executed game plan.
Are you cool with Pacquiao against Mario Barrios?
I am. I'm cool with it. If I was cool with Manny Pacquiao coming back and fighting Keith Thurman, I'm definitely going to be cool with this one. Barrios is not a puncher. Thurman was one of the biggest punchers in boxing. I think he's going to be just fine with Mario Barrios, we know what he is on the top level. He comes up short. He's been stopped by fighters that are less than Manny Pacquiao, Tank Davis. So I like this fight. I think he's not going to be an overwhelming favorite, but I think it'll be a 50-50 fight, regardless of his inactivity and age. His explosiveness, even at this age, his greatness, and the fact that you can never know what Barrios you're gonna get. And yeah, man, I like this fight. Why not? Nostalgia, marketable. Everyone will be behind him. It'll be internationally successful. I'm in.
How are you comparing Pacquiao coming back this summer at 46 after not fighting in 5 years to Pacquiao in 2019 fighting Keith Thurman, which came after back-to-back wins over Lucas Batiste and Adrian Broner? Those two scenarios could not be more different.
Some voices in the boxing community insist that if age were removed from the equation, Pacquiao would be the clear favorite. Even now, they say, his technical skills and boxing intelligence remain far ahead of most fighters in the division. They argue the fight leans in Pacquiao's favor if he can deliver the same punch output, constant movement, and ring generalship that defined his prime. What has impressed observers most in recent weeks is his training form. Sparring partners report that Pacquiao is moving with extraordinary sharpness, throwing rapid-fire combinations, and showing footwork that is both unpredictable and efficient. They say he has gone through multiple sparring rounds without fading, maintaining full focus and control.
So former 8 division world champion, now Hall of Famer, Manny Pacquiao is now gearing up to take on welterweight champion Mario Barrios. And this is going to be an interesting fight. Now, I see a lot of people talking about Pacquiao saying that he's a former shell of himself, which he probably is. But make no mistake, 60% Manny Pacquiao is still good enough to beat on a lot of these young guys. Now, people were talking about Mario Barrios because he beat Udonis Ugas, someone who beat Manny Pacquiao last time out. But styles make fights, and this training footage of Manny Pacquiao training, I don't know. I think Barrios might be in for a long night, especially given his last time out with Ramos.
He ain't lying.
Paulie Malignaggi has voiced caution about whether Pacquiao can sustain his performance across a full fight at this stage of his career. While he acknowledges Pacquiao's elite preparation, he warns that an older body simply doesn't recover as quickly as it once did. In championship rounds, stamina and leg strength are critical, and this is where Malignaggi believes older fighters often struggle. Still, he admits Pacquiao is no ordinary case. His unique mindset and conditioning might allow him to defy these limitations, just as he has defied expectations throughout his career.
What do you think about, Manny's decision and obviously getting thrown right into a title shot?
When you get older, your legs are not the same. You may have very good legs for a few rounds, but as you drag out a long fight, your legs start to betray you. I felt that later in my career. I would get into shape, but now all of a sudden, around 10, 11, 12, my legs are dragging ass, bro. Pacquiao, having not fought in a while, 46 years old, a lot of tough fights, a lot of wear and tear on Manny Pacquiao. But Manny had 70+ pro fights, and he wasn't a defensive specialist. A lot of impact, a lot of back and forth impact. He's 46, he had a lot of heavy wear and tear into his late 30s and early 40s. So how are his legs gonna be? That's my biggest thing, because I think, Manny was a range-changing fighter. He was he was that style, in and out. He's not a pocket guy. And an in and out guy needs his legs. And needs his legs the whole fight, unless he lands something big. I will say, I think Mario Barrios, I think.
Barrios himself has pointed out that history is filled with examples of great fighters falling short when trying to fight against time. He believes Pacquiao could face the same fate, especially if the bout reaches the later rounds where youth, endurance, and recovery play a larger role. Barrios also questions whether Pacquiao still carries the knockout power he once had, suggesting that while Pacquiao may land clean, damaging shots, Barrios' durability and resilience could allow him to survive. In his view, Pacquiao would need more than timing. He would require sustained, fight-ending power to secure an early finish.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is official. Manny Pacquiao will actually be fighting Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title. If this man comes back and beats Barrios, which, if I'm being totally honest, I don't think he's winning this fight even remotely. I think he could actually get stopped, in my opinion. It's not because Manny's not great or nothing. He's one of the greatest of all time. You could argue that he is the greatest of all time. You know what I'm saying? 8th division champion. But he's just too old, man. This man is 46 years of age. If he wins this fight, he ties Bernard Hopkins record for the oldest champion in boxing. That would be crazy. But if I'm being honest, I just don't see him winning. I see him getting stopped, dropped and stopped, if I'm being honest. He is having trouble with Ampo, bro. And Ampo not even a boxer. He a kickboxer. And yeah, I just don't think he'll, I just think he's too old, to be honest. I just think he's too old to win the title. But let me know what y'all think down below, man.
In an interesting twist, Barrios' trainer has warned against assuming that Pacquiao's years away from the ring equate to inactivity. He suggests Pacquiao may have quietly kept himself in fighting shape during his public absence, which could make him even more dangerous. According to the trainer, a well-rested body is rare in boxing, and Pacquiao's current sharpness could be evidence that he never truly stopped training. Still, this perspective is far from universal. Some critics argue the fight should never have been booked. They believe bringing legends out of retirement for big paydays risks damaging their legacies, especially when facing younger, active champions. Pacquiao, they argue, has already cemented his greatness and has nothing left to prove. Taking a fight like this could jeopardize how his career is remembered.
Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title is being targeted for late July in either San Antonio or Las Vegas on Amazon Prime. And Pacquiao is currently in a Senate campaign in the Philippines in May, but after that he wants to return in the summer for a world title and try to break his own record as the oldest welterweight champion at 46 years old. Now I have every issue in the world with this. Manny Pacquiao, he's my favorite fighter of all time, but this is just not great for boxing. Pacquiao's last fight was 4 years ago in 2021 against Jordanis Ugas, and in that fight he looked a lot slower, not as explosive, and he got outboxed. And then last year when he was targeting the Barrios fight, he had an exhibition against the kickboxer Rukia Anpo first, and he looked even slower and even more hittable in that fight. I don't think Pacquiao should be sanctioned to fight a world title fight at 46 years old, and not that Barrios is some scary knockout artist or a pound-for-pound level talent. If there's one champ at 147 that Pacquiao could upset, it would be Barrios. But in all likelihood, Barrios being the younger, bigger guy, he's just going to beat Manny for 12 rounds, probably stop him late. So I just don't want to see the fight. Pacquiao's accomplished everything in the sport. He really doesn't need another fight at 46.
That wraps up today's breakdown of the heated lead-up to Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios, a fight that has split the boxing world between those expecting a legendary comeback and those fearing a harsh reminder of time's impact.